Hey, good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank IPsoft, Chet and his team, for giving me the opportunity to share with you our journey. And I think the word is very important. We are through a journey, where we are being very humble and learning all the way. And I'm going to talk about a journey. This is not a project. This is a journey because this is for real and for us as a company transforming our business. Once you engage in a different way with your customers, you start making things in a different way. Just very quickly, Telefonica is one of the largest telco operators in the world. We operate in many countries, mainly in Europe and Latin America. And if I should highlight something from this slide, would be that we consider ourselves a company of platforms. And this was the first brick in the wall we are building for the transformation of the company. That was more or less 4 or 5 years ago. We said, okay, let's split our company in platforms. The first platform will be our network and our physical assets. The switches, base stations, fiber. Then we have the second layer on top of that, which is our IT and our systems, BSS, OSS, CRMs. Next, third platform, and that allows us to build on top of the first and second our products and services to our customers. And you may find in any telco operator those 3 layers, well, clearly represented. But then we think, okay, now we have a bunch of information and data in our 3 platforms. Can we do something with that? I say, okay, yes. And then we decided to build on top of everything what we call the 4th platform. The 4th platform was a data-enabled platform and also AI-enabled to gather all the information that the customers on a daily basis interact with us, to process those data and return those data to our customers to provide them better services and even give them control of the data they are using across our networks. Later on, this links with digital transformation, which is like a buzzword like now, but it works. That all big companies and also small companies are dealing with. We are also in this journey of transforming our companies to the new digital ecosystem. But what we have really discovered that is the main catalyst for us, at least for the digital transformation of the company, is to be focused on customer-facing processes. What do customers in these new digital ecosystems require for a digital telco-enabled company? Of course, the basics, 24/7, anytime, anywhere, high-quality connections, well connected. He wants the company to take care of his data, to be transparent and traceable. And of course, with this data, to personalize as much as possible for him. This puts some challenges to the companies to have more speed, time to market is critical, more flexible. Now we need to evaluate and to make a lot of work on customers' information and data, and to be scalable. And of course, we have the ecosystem that is also affecting the digital native companies created companies are setting up the expectations of the customers today. And of course, in the telco environment, our competitors are all in a race for this. But one very important thing for us is that this customer-facing oriented transformation has the main target of being relevant, to make impact in our business in the two main levers, which is the quality and our financial impact. Those are separated here in the slide, but they are, believe me, they are closely entangled. Higher quality, customer satisfaction, and lower churn are two indicators, and of course our financial indicators, revenues, cost to sell, and cost to serve. Then, 2 years ago, the early 2017, January, we really explored deploying digital workforce in our call center. We say, okay, there are a lot of noise in the providers in the industry say that this may apply to the customer service in some ways. Well, we try to give a try to that with three main objectives, which was, okay, I want to address the calls in the call centers, to address customer experience, and on top of that, being able to gather more information from the interactions with my customers. And for the early beginning, we really addressed the hotlines. Not really, well, we thought about also digital channels, written channels, but we addressed the hotlines because we wanted really to have impact. Because at that point in time, and still, is the huge amount of interactions occurs in the voice channel. Also, in 2018, 1 year ago, Telefonica published its AI principles, which were the framework which our AI and digital workforce projects or journeys should comply with, in terms of being fair, in terms of being transparent, human-centric, and of course, taking care of the data and privacy of our customers. We received a strong backup at that point in time. This was first half of 2017 for our management, top management in the company, and then we decided to move forward. And to move forward, again, trying to make as much impact as possible, based on three main levers. Which one? Okay, we need to deploy this where we can address a huge amount of calls, the most the better, and of course directly and as soon as possible to capture the benefit of reducing this amount of calls. And last but not least, we needed also a place where there was some kind of stability regarding our platforms that will be used by the digital workforce. This shows, very basic slide, what is the call flow we expected to have. Okay, we put our digital workforce in front of our customers. Customers pick up the phone, calls the hotline, and he will receive an answer. Welcome to O2, Movistar, Vivo. I'm your digital assistant. How may I help you? Simple as that. Then the interaction begins. And of course, based on many things that could or your roles, your policies, you decide that this use case is handled by the digital agent, he's handed over to an agent, and you generate some kind of indicators that are pretty the same you may expect for your normal hotline operation. This also corresponds to a certain architecture, very basic here, but I think it's clear. when the call enters, you deploy your digital workforce in the call center. The digital workforce is digital, but the call center is voice. Then you need some voice processing. You need to give mouth and ears to the digital workforce, and this is very important. Then, of course, you have the typical blocks, your NLP, detecting what is the intent of the customers, and manage it with your brain and your use cases or defined workflows. And very important is also your interfaces with your systems to retrieve, input and retrieve all the information the digital workforce needs to manage the use cases. Then, when deploying the project and when starting the project, you need to set up the requirements. You need to go to your partners and say, okay, I have some requirements for my digital agent. And you come to the vendors and they say, okay, yes, look at this architecture, I put this here, look at all my boxes, looks pretty. Say, okay, at the beginning, believe me, it was a little bit confusing. But then I remember, and I had the chance also, I have been very lucky because I had the chance to be here also in New York 2 years ago in the Digital Workforce Summit. And I remember also the first speech from Chetan, and they were quite inspiring regarding also the motto of IPsoft and Amelia, which is the most human AI. And I say, okay, let's think human. What are the attributes I need to engage a human to take care of my hotlines? So let's try to translate this into the requirements for my digital workforce. It's as simple as that. When I hire a new agent, there are some basics that came from the factory. He can speak, he can understand. Those are the basics. And from that, I put into my staff, what's next? I need to train in many things, in understanding my business, in understanding my processes, my products and services. I train. And on top of that, and last but not least, I give him a workplace. A workplace is a desktop, chair, phone, headset, screen, keyboard, and a mouse to be able to interacting with my customers, in the other side, interacting with my systems, and he manage the calls. The digital workforce is the same. I need to be able to speak to the customers. I need to create a digital workforce adapted to my business, and I need to link very well with my stacks and systems. And of course, there are other very important key enablers that appear for managing my digital workforce. And this is for us, this is a very, very strong point in introducing digital workforce. And this is the way your company also evolves, because it requires for you to create new skills for new tasks to manage your digital workforce. You need to monitor, you need to train, you need to maintain your digital workforce. These are new skills, there are new ways of working, and new organizations you need to put in place. Now, let's go to the project, to the journey we have currently undergoing in our first deployment with IPsoft in Peru. Why Peru? Well, it's a good question. The answer is that it was a perfect fit for the three requirements we have seen before. Volumes, capability to recover the call reduction in terms of costs, and impact on customer experience, and also there was pretty stable platforms there ongoing at that point in time. Those are the million, the end of 2018, 38 million hundred calls by human agents with a high internal transfer rate, and the customer satisfaction was not going so well. And this is the three main indicators we wanted to address and to improve with very specific targets, to drop those 38 millions by half, 22 to 6%, and to increase significantly our customer satisfaction. Of course, the volumes were going to be addressed by handling calls today in the human side to the digital workforce. Internal transfers was to better managing the self-service and better redirecting calls to our human-based agents. And the CSI has two main levers. The first one is the complete replacement of the IVR for a new technology, much more, let's say, friendly. And second, and very important, and this is very particular of the Latin American landscape, which is the attrition levels in our call centers. Many people think that digital workforce may threaten normal human workforce or not. But I mean, in Latin America and regarding the contact center, this is not really an issue. Our attrition levels in countries like Peru, Colombia, and Ecuador, Mexico, they are start at the 8% monthly. This represents that at any point in time, 1/3 of your staff has less than 6 months experience. And this has a huge impact of how do you serve your customers with complex products and services in place. This was more or less the timeline of the project. There was a long period of discovery. Of course, we need to set up a clear, if there was a business plan in place. The business was in place. We were able to address those amount of calls. There was a strong business plan in place. We conducted a procurement process, and IPsoft was in charge of the project. Then the important thing, which is, okay, we need this to be real, for real. And believe me that two important things in Peru also was that the people there was really committed and with a strong illusion on this project. Very talented people. I would also like to thank them for all the effort and all the commitment and illusion they have put in this project to make it happen. We started the deployment in the 4th quarter last year, September. We got an MVP by January, and we go live with customers the 4th of March this year. With some additional challenges. We need to create this voice interface from scratch from Peruvian. They were in Spanish, but not for the Peruvian particular. We need to create a synthetic speaker with Peruvian accent. We needed to review all the care processes as we were thinking about how to translate this into the virtual agent. We were going to go live eliminating the IVR. And again, very important, we wanted to impact the business from the early beginning. And these are the results, the first results. 8 weeks, we are now, it started 4th of March, more or less more than a couple of months. But at the end of April, we had managed more than 100,000 calls. Now we are managing around 27 7,000 calls on a daily basis, handled by a digital agent. But the goal, I mean, once we will have finished the ramp up, we'll be able to handle 250,000 calls daily, which means around 6 million on a monthly basis. And that's all the first results regarding some very specific indicators we decided to track, which is, okay, is my virtual agent understanding what the customer wants, the intent accuracy? I'm having good response times, and we understand that the response times are going to be tougher in the future, because once the use cases get more complex, and this is not responsibility of the virtual agent, is you have to make several calls to several systems, and it happens the same when you have a human in charge. It say, okay, sir, wait a minute, I am going to retrieve the information. Has to type, the systems are not as fast as we expect, and this is one thing we are going to need to deal with in the future. We have now some ideas in place. Collaboration levels, as we haven't completed the ramp up, which means that one customer can enter or not randomly the digital agent, we don't have reached still the collaboration level we need, but they are under the minimum we needed to go live. Our retention rates are quite good. That means that for all this amount of 100 calls by the human age, how many didn't have been resolved by the virtual agent? And finally, the other indicator we will try to move, which are the internal transfers. What's next? Well, now this project has become a global strategic transformation project on the company. So we are in the phase, of course, ramping up in Peru. This rapidly is spreading, the results are spreading, everybody is in other OBs, in other operational businesses, is very interested in that. Now we have plans to, now we have a process in Spain that is very well advanced. We want to also open Argentina, Chile, and many others, of course. And in the way, we are also learning a lot. We are building new use cases and roles for the digital workforce that have appeared during the journey. This is nothing new. I mean, this is already available. I mean, how can I use, people have said, okay, but this is great. I can use this for helping my field support people. Or what about telesales? What can I do with telesales? Let's make a trial. Can I put this virtual system, digital workforce, in my bundles for the B2B business or not? And how it entangles, we have seen one desk. How can it entangles with RPA? Well, this is very important. And beyond, what's next beyond? What's the, again, I say this is, I am very humble on it. I'm learning, I've learned a lot during these years. I'm still learning a lot, and I have many, many things to discover. And that's why really also I'm here today, to learn a lot from all the use cases, for sure very interesting, we will see. And like American awarded literacy Nobel Prize used to say in one of his poem, here and today, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Thank you very much.